Hey everybody! I want to welcome you to the next step of the course named A Shortcut to a Better Life. We're going to take the second step today towards our better future, better life. The life we want to build for ourselves because we want to be creators of our life, not the managers of our circumstances, as a lot of people around us are. Okay? All right. To learn this lesson in the best possible way, I need to remind you what have we learned in the previous video, in the previous step we have already taken. Okay? And it's very relevant to this particular step. First thing we learned were the 3 steps to freedom. And we have figured out that there is the framework which we can actually use in order for us to get the freedom to make any changes in any area of your life. And those 3 steps were as follows. First step was the mind and psychology. We have to strengthen our mind and our psychology. The second step was we have to learn strategies how to build our lifestyle. And the third one, we have to form habits to actually support and maintain our ongoing results. And that is the framework we learned, and we have started working on the first part of those 3 different steps, which was mind and psychology. And to figure out our mind and psychology and strengthen that, we had to be introduced to the beliefs. We have learned what the beliefs are, which are the feelings of absolute certainty about something. We have learned that we have developed different kinds of beliefs within our life, which are disempowering beliefs and empowering beliefs. We have learned about the success cycle, which can go up based on your empowering beliefs and can go down based on your disempowering beliefs. And we have also learned the methods and the process of how to actually replace the disempowering beliefs with empowering beliefs. This is important because I want to extend on this topic today, and I'm gonna go even deeper, and you will understand why haven't we yet discussed anything yet but beliefs, because beliefs is the cornerstone, as I said, for everything which is upcoming. I call today's step becoming a true self and power of actions. In the first part of this step, guys, I'm gonna be introducing you to the real you, and then I'm gonna be guiding you through using the practical exercises of how to create and become your new you, your different you. And we will be discussing and also finding out what parts of perfect you and the you want to see in future are missing. In the second part of this step, we're going to be discussing what are the types of actions we can actually take to reinforce those empowering beliefs we have learned in previous step, and as well as to become your true yourself and also develop yourself further to become new you. This is super exciting, guys. We're going to be going over such amazing things, and I truly believe that's going to help you. Only that video, and I almost kind of say that about every single step we take, but this is really true. There are some golden nuggets in those steps I put in, that even some of those from only one step can already change your life drastically from the positive perspective and get it, your better life up. Okay? All right, let's start on this first part. To start on that, I have to again recall a little bit our favorite beliefs. So what we did last time, we actually created the list of beliefs about our overall life. And I don't know if you, like me, you had on your list most of the time, and most of all, like 80 or 90%, the things we formed our beliefs about, which are external things. Basically, our beliefs about external world. For example, what do we think about money? What do we think and believe about exercising? What do we think and believe about relationships? and things like that. But today, I want to pay attention to one small group of those beliefs, which are actually describing your internal world. You see, before we go to change the external world, we first need to change our internal world, because this is where everything is happening, all the decisions are happening, all the thoughts are going around, and all the beliefs are being formed. So I want to pay attention and focus, put the focus on, because where the focus goes, energy flows. I want to get your all energy and start concentrating on those internal beliefs about your internal world. And I will explain. In today's step, I want to introduce you to the definition of identity. Your identity. Becoming true self means you actually finding what is your identity, how can you describe this at the moment today, and what kind of identity should you acquire or expand to in order to succeed and achieve anything in your life. If you like me, you probably heard a lot of sayings like this. To change the world, you first need to change yourself. And for a long period of time, I could not understand the meaning. I was like, what do you mean? And now, after those long years of working on the identity, of my identity, and understanding what identity actually is, now I understand. The world will actually never change. It's going to stay the same. We're still going to have those same 4 seasons like summer, winter, spring, and fall. We're still going to have, day and night, sun and night again. We're still going to get all of it. But the world can change only when we can change, because after we change ourselves, we change our perception, we change the things, how with our feelings, how do we look and feel about the things, about that same world. And we might start seeing this world from the different angle, different perspective. That's how world literally changes for us, because of our internal world. Not just because the actual world will change for us. And this is very important. I want to give you an example which I have heard from one of my mentors. And that example actually explained me all about identity. And we're going to define the identity today, don't you worry. But first, hear me out. Listen to this story. This is actually the story of my mentor. This is not my story, but I learned from this story so much that I want to pass it on to you. So my mentor said he had a mentor, and that mentor was mentoring him on a personal development. And at some point, that mentor wanted to ask my mentor, to perform some kind of challenge. And he suggested, would it be nice to challenge you to become a millionaire? Like, please earn the million. And he asked my mentor, what do you think about it? My mentor was like all excited, and he was just thinking in his head, hell yeah, I want to become the millionaire. It would be nice to have $1 million in my pocket. I would do that, I would buy this, I would purchase that. And he had these kind of thoughts in his head. And then he got asked by his mentor, hey, what do you think? And he answered all those things. Well, yeah, I need money, I want to become a millionaire, let's earn the million. And he said, if you're going to look at this, the mentor said, if you're going to look at this from that perspective, you're going to get it all wrong. And my mentor was confused. He was like, what do you mean by that? He said, well, you're missing the whole point. Because in order to earn the million, you're going to need to do something different from what you're doing right now. Because if you would do those things already, you would already be a million. Does it make sense? Well, my mentor says, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So to do something different, and those actions which you're going to perform, they're going to change you. And as a result, you're going to become someone else who will be able to actually earn that million. So it's not about actual million itself, but it's who do you need to become to be able to earn that million. And as a result, of course, you will get this $1 million in your pocket. which is good, but you will actually get something which is a lot more valuable. You're gonna become someone else, someone better than you were before. And you will be able to carry that on forward and put another goals in front of yourself, like becoming a million, maybe becoming a billionaire, maybe becoming the healthiest person in the world, maybe starting the best relationships in the world and things like that. And you will be able to achieve them by becoming even better than you became that person who just earned the million. And then it hit me, and I'm talking about myself. That's why it's so important to change yourself all the time, because you have to become someone, according to some criteria, who can actually have this opportunity and possibility to earn that million. Because if I'm going to stay the same as I am right now, I'm going to get the same result what I'm getting right now, and that's not the million. It's a lot less, let's say, right? So that's why it's important to actually start working on our identity. Why? Because our identity shapes our choices and our decisions. And that's why our identity actually dictates the results. Because our decisions generate actions what we take or don't take. And that's how we get or don't get the results. And the most important thing, and this sentence and the quote, I heard it from one of my mentors, might become your favorite one out of this entire program. Guys, we don't do what we can. We do what we think we are. Again, this is mic dropping kind of thing. Once again, we don't do what we can, and we can't do anything. But we do what we believe we are. So unless we're going to change our beliefs in a way we believe we can become someone who can get that something we desire, we will not be able to get that. So the change is inevitable. We gotta change in order to achieve those results we want to. And that's what we're doing here right now with you, going through the program. My goal and my mission here is to help you to learn how to change. Because with the change, you become someone who can achieve that something which you desire. Make sense? I hope it does. So what is the identity? And by the way, to start making the changes I told you before, we gotta start somewhere. So we have to figure out where we at right now. In order to change ourselves, we have to understand where we at right now. That's where identity comes into the place. We have to figure out what kind of identity do we have at the moment. We have to figure out what is missing out of that identity. And we have to figure it out what we want to put on and add on in order to create such an identity with which we're going to be able to get to those results we desire. Let's define the identity, because as I said, and as I know, I understand things a lot better than I actually can define them. Hopefully you are the same. If not, it's still going to help you out to figure out what the identity is. I love this definition of identity, and it's gonna sound very familiar to you, I promise. So what is identity? Identity is a set of beliefs. That's why beliefs are so important. So identity is a set of beliefs you have about yourself, about your internal world, about the things you do or you don't do, and about the things you will do and will never do. That's what identity is. Basically, this is the group of those beliefs we have about ourselves. And they shape our decisions. Why? Because that group lets us do what we do, think what we think, percept how we perceive the world, see the world in the way we see the world. That's why that group of those beliefs I mentioned from the previous lesson is so important, because it defines us, our identity. And we already said that our identity shapes our decision. So what kind of identity do we want? Well, in perfect case scenario, we want the identity who's gonna help us to make a decision to change those certainty, those feelings of absolute certainty of something. In other words, to change our beliefs. Because we don't do what we can, but we do who we believe we are. How powerful is that? I think it's super powerful, guys. Okay, next things about identity. Let's dig even deeper and let's see what that identity actually consists of. So, if we understand that identity is a set of beliefs, and we know that beliefs are the feelings, then the identity is a set of our feelings, which were born somewhere in our childhood and somewhere in our previous experiences in our life. Going through ups and downs in our lives. That's how our identity is being formed. And it's being impacted by environments we are in, by people who we spend time with, and a lot of different and many things. But the very important thing of identity is that the good part of it is actually being created and formed without our control. You would ask, why do you think so? Well, take a look at your childhood. Have you chosen yourself in which city to be born? Not. In which country to be born? Now, not. Did you choose who your parents will be? Not. Did you choose in what neighborhood to live? Probably not. Are you getting my point? Through whole childhood, someone else was making decisions on our behalf. Not against our will. We were just too young to make those decisions. But as a result of those decisions, we've been put in different environments, we met different people, and we formed different beliefs, which are feelings, which are creating our identity. So wouldn't it be fair to say that the good part of our identity has been formed without our control? In other words, randomly. And this is crazy. You know what even more crazier? It's because with this kind of identity, with that huge part of it which was set up and put together randomly without our control, we live our entire life. And we complain, and we cannot succeed, and we fail, and we don't stand up again, and on and on and on and on. And we don't understand, like, why is that happening? We cannot describe ourselves. We cannot understand what is missing. And the thing is missing is that we are actually inherited the big part of our beliefs which form our identity without our participation. And because of that, we are missing out on the very good part of us, the part of us which can make that necessary change for us to become someone else, to achieve those results and those goals which we want to achieve, to get the better life. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say that we are about today to change that from now and on. But we're not going to change you completely. We're going to expand on your identity. Because trust me, you already have everything what it takes to succeed. Only all that, and I'm going to prove it to you today during our practical exercise. You will be amazed, I promised you. Because we gonna have it already. We are having it already, what it takes to get to the different results. To earn your first million, to earn your 10th million, to become healthy, to form relationships, to have kids, to succeed at our jobs, to open up the business. We all have it all in us. Why haven't we done it yet and achieved it yet? Just because we have this wrong part or the part of our identity which we were not participating in building, and we have to step a little bit aside and now figure out what that part is and what that part did with us, because that part, I'm going to assure you, pushed everything else, all the other goodies, down. And you use that part of your identity the most. In some cases, you use the other part as well, which we're going to unveil today, but very rarely. And that's why you identify yourself with those things which you do the most frequently. I hope it all makes sense to you guys. And our job now is to figure it out. What is your identity? What it consists of? What are those things which you're using already and succeeding on that? And what are the things which are left out, which you don't use? We should figure out what the things are missing and which we want to add in order to achieve what we want to achieve, and then mix it all up together and create our new identity and kind of, act up and on it. So now I want to invite you to the practical exercise, and I want to help you to create and understand your true identity, to find your true identity, to define it, to figure out what is missing, and put together the design of your new identity, which you already have inside of you. You have not been using it yet. And start using it in order to succeed in any area of your life. How does that sound? I bet that sounds great. I hope that sounds great to you, because this is huge. All right, on your screen now, you're gonna see the template which I have prepared specifically for you guys, where I'm gonna explain how do I work on my identity and how do we gonna create the new one for you together. All right, guys, on your screen now, you should be able to see my template, and we're gonna go over it. The drill is the same. You can see me on the right upper corner in the little window. Hello, I'm here, and I'm going to guide you through this template. I'm going to explain you how do I work and understand who am I? How do I define myself now? I'm going to explain you how do I find what am I missing, and then how do I become someone I need to become in order to achieve something. I call this template Define and Expand Your Identity. What a motivational name, don't you think? Well, as I explained you before, we have what it takes already within us, to get what we want out of life. It's only the matter of whether we're using it or not, whether we have in the habit to using those other things which are staying on the way of ours to achieve the goal, or we tap into very deeply into our identity and get the things out which will help us to become someone, to achieve something. Let me guide you through this template and see what the structure we have here. And with the sum of the examples, I will explain you how to actually work on your identity. So the first column, and I'm going to go one by one, I'm going to explain each column with you, and then we're all going to get together. So the first column I call your you now. Like, we should define ourselves in the way we are now. How do we do that? Before taking a look at the things which we already have in this column, let's just define it very simply. You got to think about yourself. You got to describe yourself. Of what do you think of yourself? What do you think who you are, from the behavior perspective, from the feeling perspective, from emotions perspective, from the physicality perspective, psychology perspective, from your mental health perspective. Whatever you think about yourself, whatever you think what you might do or you do, what you would never do and would do someday, you have to kind of put it all together. Anything what you think about yourself now, usually it's who you are, with a little caveat, which I'm going to get to as we go with this presentation here of this template, right? So this is the easiest way. A little bit harder way and a little bit more structured way is actually to try figure it out yourself within a couple of categories I put for you. And I will explain each category for you right now. So the first one is your personality. And by the way, when you take up on this file and you have this file, this template in your membership area together with this video, for each of the categories, I put a little description here. Just, you have it within your file, and you can always take a look at this and remind yourself what this category usually means. So this category here, personalities, basically describes your inborn and acquired preferences, acquired characteristics. And here in this category, you might ask yourself questions like, do you restore your energy from being alone or from being with people? You see it on your screens, right? Are you a planner or go with the flow kind of person? Do you make decisions more on the basis of feelings, of thoughts and facts? And so on and so on. I also put some of the example. How would you describe yourself within this category? For example, you think you're fair, you're honest, you're fearful, you're anxious, you're organized, you're prudent, you're creative, you're social, you have a lot of anger. Maybe you're the person who holds the grudge too long after the conflict with someone. So those are the things you want to put underneath here. This is just the help to you to understand from what kind of perspective and angle should you take a look at yourself. Again, as I said, this category complicates your life and kind of you think it becomes too difficult, don't use those categories. Just randomly list the list of things you think about yourself and describe yourself in the best possible way you can. It's also going to be very useful for you. As a matter of fact, they've done the studies. If the person just go through the process of trying to describe himself or herself and find out what kind of personality do they have, that process itself already pushes the person takes slightly different actions from those that person used to be taken. Okay, so the process here is more important even than the result. So if you don't have the clear results out of this exercise here, don't you worry. If you went through, you already got the results. The only way you can fail is just ignore that and close the template. This is the only way. All right? So here you are supposed to put the things about your personality. What you think about yourself, maybe you've heard someone told about yourself, and so on. The other way, if you are not doing very well here and you feel like you have a lot of different types of personalities within you and qualities, but you cannot define them that well yourself. What you can use is you can take the personality tests, and they are awesome. And I will put the list of the personality tests I use myself to define myself in this category of what kind of thoughts do I have, what kind of feelings do I have, what kind of characteristics do I have, from all those different perspectives, being organized, being prudent, being fearful, honest, and so on and so on. And as a result of those tests, you will be able to understand yourself better from the personality and character perspective. And by the way, those tests, I compare them with the blood work. We go and we do this blood work just to understand whether if something wrong with us. And if we find something, we're able to fix it because we know if we have more of that or less of that, we need to do this. And then we have the prescription, and when we do the vitamins or whatever we do to kind of normalize that blood condition. Wouldn't it be nice to have the same for your mind, for your brain? Well, those kind of tests, which I suggest you to take to figure out your personality better, they are actually scans of your mind, as I call them. They scan you. And if you do, as I do, the blood work like once a half a year, just to make sure I stay healthy, and I kind of benchmark myself against that, well, I want to do my brain scans as well, as often as my blood work. And that's what I do. I go through those personality tests twice a year, and I see what the picture I get, and I see who do I need to become and what do I need to change in order to become that. And I work with that all the time. So this is also an ongoing process, but don't get overwhelmed about it. It's just an extra information, extra push, what I'm doing and making with you. But at the same time, if you're a little bit overwhelmed, it's okay. Just put the note for yourself. Take up on this topic later on. See what kind of personality test you can go over. And those are fun to go over or to go through because they unveil who is, in my case, Igor. In your case, you, from the personality perspective. All right? So here we kind of list the things we think about self from the personality perspective. The next thing is values. You see, we all have values. And those values are guides to decision making and motivators for our goals, to set up our goals. Those are our internal values. So it's very useful to list what kind of values do we have in our life. Like, think about it. What do you value? Like in my case, I put a couple of examples. Helping others. I value that a lot. Health. I value health. I want to stay healthy. My financial security, maybe. My friendship, I value it a lot. And things like that. Put your values. It's different from your personality because those are the kind of your character. But your values, it's something bigger. Okay? Put the list of those values here. Next, your interests. Basically, those are your passions, your hobbies, anything that draws your attention over a sustained period of time. And I also put this information here for you. What kind of questions can you ask yourself to figure it out better? What kind of interest do you have? Questions like, what do you pay attention to? What are you curious about? What concerns you? What do you think on the weekends? What do you talk on the weekends to someone about tirelessly? And things like that. Put those interests of yours. In my case, it might be biotechnologists, it's golfing, it's very interesting to me, it's reading, and other things. So list those interests which you think you have right now. Don't think what would you like to have. Don't try to make the perfect picture in this column, guys. Make the honest picture in this column. If you are super angry and you hold the grudge on someone for too long, put those things here. You need to know what you have within you. You have to be honest with you. All right? The same in values here. If you value, I don't know, something which you think is bad, still put it here because it will help you to unveil your true self. And that's important, and you'll understand why. The same with the interests. Let's go to another category. Another category are the strengths. They can include not only abilities and skills and talents, but also the character strengths what you have, like such as loyalty, respect for others, love of learning, love of emotional intelligence, fairness, and more and more and more. And I put a little of myself here. Courage, I think it's my one of my strengths, right? Humility, I'm very humble. Adaptability, love of learning, love of teaching. What else? Put all your strengths you think you have, because we're going to be building on top of those strengths. Because whatever you're naturally good at, it's a good jumpstart to start from that and go up. All right. The last one, but not least, mission and meaning. And that's important. We all have to have mission because our mission helps us to focus, and our mission helps us to understand what our goal should be and how should we change in order to become someone to deliver upon that mission, to achieve that mission, to maintain that mission. In my case, helping others to learn, that's one of my missions, and one of the missions which we created for the Better Life Academy. Our mission is to help others to live a better life. In more detail, our mission is to empower you guys to self-learn and apply that knowledge implemented in order to succeed in any area of your life. That's the mission, that's a statement. Building products, in my case, for example, that's one of the meanings. I want to build something meaningful and again, which would help others. What that mission is for you. By the way, a little hint, we will be working on defining your mission statement and your mission in life. We're also going to be working on your goals. We're going to be putting up the roadmap of your life and putting the roadmap of actionable items which you have to act up on in order to create that perfect life you want for yourself. So don't you worry if you miss out a little bit on those things which you're going to work with on this template, you're still going to get enough of it, enough of knowledge and experience throughout the upcoming steps we're going to take. And they all, again, remember, will complement each other and will complement the previous ones. And we're going to use this experience we get in today to actually proceed with the next steps. So that's what I do in this column. And as a result, I have this list. So those are the things I think of myself, okay, in different categories. And that's who I am and who you are at the moment. Next thing what I do is I go to this column, which I call what is missing. Well, now I want to dream a little bit. I want to imagine a little bit. And I want to understand what is missing in order for me to have even stronger personality. What do I think is missing out of this list? What is something I want to become in this personality category, which I think is missing and I should add, and I would like to have it, but I don't. For example, what is missing? Well, I still have fears, but I can break through them 9 times out of 10. That's what I want to have as my personality, right? I have it right now. I have the fear right now, but I still going to have the fear, but I want to break through that fear. Maybe right now, my fear stops me. I hit the wall. And as soon as I feel the fear, I don't do nothing. Remember, we talked about the fear today, and we're going to talk about the fears because those are the feelings and beliefs, those same beliefs we have. So I put for myself, well, the thing is missing is that I cannot handle these fears, but I want to handle them 9 times out of 10, and I'm going to break through them. All right. So that's what was missing for me. Well, if I define myself as anxious from personality point of view, what is missing? What I want it to be? Well, I want to become anxious only 1 time out of those 10 moments I was anxious about before. That's where I want to be. That's what's missing in my life. Yes, I have this anxiety. Yes, I've been anxious, but it makes me to hit the wall. It makes me to regress, not the progress. What is missing? The missing is how do I actually use it in order to succeed? That's another example. Let's say values, whatever I listed. What else do I want to value or I feel like I would like to value? Well, in my case, relationships, honesty. I want to pursue it as my value. I want to be honest, and I want everyone else to be honest with you because I think this is the root of anything you want to build. Relationships, businesses, your life, and things like that. Interests. Well, I want to be interested in investments. I want to create and develop this interest in my hobby in investments because now I know how to save maybe, and I have savings account and stuff, but I do not invest, right? I want to get interested in this area. I want to start investing. Another one, startups. Everyone is opening up the businesses. I kind of was thinking about it, but it's not the part of my interest somehow. I am interested in that, but I do not pursue it. So that's what's missing. Okay, let's put the startups here. My strengths, besides what I have already listed here, what do I think is missing? What do I think I would like to have? Well, structure and organization. I kind of felt I could use more of it because at my workplace right now, at my business, I struggle with that, and people tell me that, and that's where I miss out, and that's where my weakness is. So that's what's missing. The team building. Yeah, I want to build the teams. I want to build the best teams out there. That's what's missing. Those skills are missing. That's what I want. That's what I put it here. For mission, well, changing anything which I can help people with. That's what I think is missing, and I want to achieve that. And that's who I want to become. I hope you get this idea of what kind of thing should you put here. And now you might ask me, well, how do I know what am I missing if I already have listed something here? Well, you have listed the things which you think and feel about yourself, right? But now you probably had different experiences in your life, and you felt those moments where maybe you procrastinated, those moments where you were held back by those fears which I mentioned before, maybe the moments where you could not achieve something just because of, and you know those excuses and the reasons of yours which you usually use. So try to come up with the solutions for those situations. Just imagine you would not have those fears. Just imagine you would not have those obstacles on your way. Just imagine you would not have those opinions which you used to take in consideration. Just imagine you are completely free. What kind of qualities would you like to have within all those categories in order to succeed according to your opinion, and in order you were missing out on, and you've seen in others, and you've always respected in others? So this is another way how to take a look at that. And again, don't be afraid if you're only going to come up with only a couple of those in each category. That's completely okay. The main thing is to go through that thinking process, guys. Okay? All right. Now we know what is missing. Next step, and you probably think we're going to get to the new you, and you are wrong if you think that. There is another super important step, one of the most important ones when we work with this template. We need to come back to your you now, and we want to revise a little bit all those things we put about ourselves. And what we need to do is we now have to mark with the different colors, right? I'm gonna mark it with the red color, let's say, right? I should mark those things which I use on daily basis, or at least once per 2 days. If I use that thing from personality perspective, if I'm becoming anxious every day, or at least once or 2 days, I have to mark it like that. If I have a lot of anger almost every single day or every other day, I should mark it just like that. Values. If I'm helping everyone every single day, I should mark it. If I help someone like once a year, I should not touch it. I should not change that color. You understand what I mean? Let me just mark it, some of them, so you get the whole picture, okay? And I'm randomly marking it here, but you are working on that with the reason, right? And let's say you have this picture on your screen right there. After you mark those things which you do at least once in a while, meaning once a day, once per 2 days. Guys, I want to congratulate you. You have just discovered your true self now. Did you guess why? Because your true self is somebody and someone with identity which uses these kind of qualities most often on daily basis. And it comes from our past, from our experiences, from our childhood. We use that as our habits, basically, and that becomes our identity, the one which is being formed partially without our control. Those red things in my case right now, this is my true identity if I would be putting this file for myself. This is who I am now. From personality perspective, anxious, creative, with a lot of anger person kind of thing, right? From the value perspective, the person who values financial security and friendship, but probably forgets about health and helping others. Wants to have it because you listed, but not using it every single day. And now you're starting to guess. The rest part, which in my case became black ink, are that potential identity we didn't tap in yet, but we have it with us. This is the proof. This is another confirmation to you guys that you have it within you because you have listed it. But you're not using it. That's what I'm talking about. That I'm talking about expanding your identity, not actually changing it, because you already have it in you. Well, here you have it. The red color, the red inked qualities of your identity are your true identity. The red ones, I mean, the black ones in my case, in my example here, are the ones which I have but don't use yet. I hope you got it. This is super important. And we have only one last step, which is going to summarize it all. Guess what should we do now in order to build our new you? You guessed it, very easy. We want to tap into our potentially to our identity, which we did not use. What is it? Those are all those qualities. Let's take them and let's put them here. That's what we actually want to be, right? But we're not using it. It is with us, but we're not using it. What else we want to do? Well, we have already defined some things where we are missing with things. So we're going to take them and we're going to also put them here. So we have just combined those things we never used before, but we want to use because we listed them here, and we put the things what we thought were missing. And as a result, we have, in this case, for the personality, we basically have the roadmap of what and who we want to be from the personality perspective. And we just have listed with you. We want to be fair, be honest, be fearful, in this case, just for the sake of an example, organized, prudent, social. We want to still have fears, but want to be able to break through them 9 times out of 10. And we also understand that we might be anxious, but 1 time out of 10 moments, I was anxious before, I would not like to be anxious. Now what? Well, we keep going, obviously. We take it another category, we move it here, we move those things which are missing. And from values perspective, we want to help others more. We want to take care of our health more. We want to take care of our relationships. We want to take care about our honesty, meaning we want to be as honest as we possible, right? And they do the same with interest, with strengths, with mission. And as a result, we have all those qualities within all those categories which we want to build in order to become someone who can achieve those goals we did not achieve yet because we did not yet change ourselves. And that becomes your roadmap. And those items on that list should help you to create actions. Now you know what should you do in order to become someone who you want to become. For example, if you want to be organized, well, maybe you take project manager courses to learn how to actually, manage the project. How do you groom the whole thing into the tasks? How do you see the whole process, which is intangible through the particular structure which you can actually put on the paper and things like that? You start to develop that skill if you want to get if you want to be organized, right? You have to start developing that skill. Helping others. If you want to help others, you have to come up with actions which you need to take. And we're going to be talking about action into the second part of this step, of the overall step, power of actions, as I said. You got to take some kind of actions which will help others. In my case, well, I started to record that program because I truly believe it's going to help you guys. And that was my action after I have identified it, what I wanted, right? Your relationships, well, you might as well start building those relationships. Figure out what you need to do to build them or make them stronger or change them. Whatever you have to do and take action up on to become that person. And after a while, you want others and yourself, when you put those old things again in that column, majority of those things should be out from that column. That should be you in some day. Well, now I'm probably going to have the question, oh man, I have so many items here. What should I start working on first? And that would be very cool question, guys. Well, I have two answers for that. For now, it's enough to just start working on those things you feel like you want to change. You feel like are being obstacle on your way to change. We all have it, you know. We probably know like we did not make that particular change just because of something. We did not do this just because of something. We did not change the job just because of some excuses and reasoning and things like that. Think of those moments in your life where you have procrastinated, and think of those things which kind of led into that procrastination. What qualities of your identity did you use to actually procrastinate? And now figure it out what you want to change. Maybe you want to take up on that job which you have missed out before. Maybe you want to start that relationships which you decided to not start before. Maybe you should start working on existing relationships if you thought you had to start working on them. And to do that, you have to start developing this kind of qualities in this column. And that's how they're going to help you out. Another way of how to figure out these items even better is to define your mission and your goals. And then you're going to understand what kind of mission you have and what kind of goals you want to achieve. And depending on those goals, you will be able to define which of these things you want to improve first and inherit and change in you first in order to achieve those goals faster. And maybe some other items from this list will become second priority, but you're still going to start working on them, but later on in your life. You know what I'm saying? I hope you do, because it's very important. And by the way, the last step, what I do with this particular template, what I do is I go to my list of empowering beliefs we have created with you during last step. And remember, I told you come up with actions which will reinforce those beliefs. Well, now I would take those actions which you came up with and I add those actions to that particular column. Just skip them here. Just see whether those actions also represent something you want to change about yourself. And that's how you will make this list even fuller, even as a whole, and you will not miss out on anything. And then you have to just start working on it. And by the way, we're going to have sessions with you when we're going to make your goals, when I'm going to help you to create your mission in life, and I'm going to help you to create the roadmap of your lifestyle, which you wish and desire to have. So don't you worry, you will be able to use this list to achieve your goals, to achieve your desires, to create your roadmap. It's down the line, so you're not missing out on anything. All right? Okay, let's wrap it up. So as a result, what we have here, we have the column which we call your you now. What you do here, you describe yourself. You describe what you think of yourself, you describe what you know of yourself, you describe what others say about yourself, you describe what you do, what you don't, what you will do, what you will not do, your values, your interests, your personality, everything you think of yourself. Then what you do, you think what is missing, what you think, what kind of other qualities you would like to acquire to make your life better. And you just list them here. We call them what is missing in your life, in your opinion. How do you feel about it? The way you feel about it, just list it here. After that done, we come back to the previous column and we ask ourselves, what are the things and qualities out of this list we are using most often? At least once a day or every other day. And we mark them somehow. All those items on the list which we marked will describe our true self at the moment. Those qualities we use at the moment. The rest of it, the things which also part, the huge part of our identity, but we didn't tap into it yet and did not use it yet. But we obviously want to do that because we put them on the list ourselves. And here we are uncovering and unleashing our true self. Then to create this someone different and the one who changes to achieve his or her goals and to get the better life, we combine the things we did not tap into yet from our identity and the things we think are missing from us being the way we want it to be to achieve those things we want to achieve. As a result, we have the whole list which describes our new us. And we can start working and take action towards actually becoming that. All right, we all done here? Let's continue. All right, we are back on. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed that exercise. As I previously mentioned, it's not even that important to complete this exercise perfectly and get the outcome of that exercise, which is your identity. It is very important just to go through the process of identifying yourself, of describing yourself, of figuring out what is missing, of figuring out what kind of identity do you want as you feel it from your gut, but at the same time based on what kind of goals and mission you have in life. It is very important. And by just doing so, the studies actually show, and there are a lot of studies about that, the process of discovering your identity already puts you on a path to take better actions. Just the process itself. We're not even talking about the results. So don't be hard on you if you feel like you didn't perform that exercise perfectly. That's okay. You're gonna make this and you're gonna go through this exercise as many times as you wish. All depends on you, on your decisions, which are shaped by your identity, by the way. Start reshaping it. Start take those decisions, make those decisions, take those steps. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I want to recap about the identity, what we learned today, just to make sure we're all on the same page, and then I'm going to mention one more important thing related to the building identity. So we have learned that identity is a set of beliefs we have about ourselves. The things what we do or we don't, the things what we will do or we will not do. And usually that identity, the big part of it, are being formed without our participation and control. And that would be only fair to say that we have this right to stop, figure that part out, analyze it, take the goodies out of it, dig even deeper under that part, see what other goodies we have within ourselves. Put them all together, bring it to the table, start practicing it, start using it, and start becoming someone who can actually achieve those results we desire about. How great is that? The one issue with that is we all are afraid to change our identity. It's one of the biggest fears of human beings because it's related to the fear, one of the most common fears in the world, of fear to not being loved. There are two common fears in the world which all of us have. It was inborn in us. Fear of not being enough and fear of not being loved. So as soon as we do something which requires changes within our internal world, that's why we pay attention to external world first. And that's why on your previous list of disempowering and empowering beliefs, you might have only a majority of your beliefs around your external world, not your internal world. Because as soon as we start dig deep into our internal world and start to change it, we hit the wall, and that wall is our fear to not being loved. Why? How is that related? Well, we feel like we're being loved right now by our co-workers, partners, spouses, family, kids, society, and so on and so on and so on. And we related to the way we are, to our identity. So as a result, we think that in case we're gonna start changing that identity, changing ourselves, we're gonna lose that love because we think we deserve that love by being who we are. And we are right, by the way. But it's not the reason to stop and hit the wall, because you want to be on the other side and to get to that better life. And if it requires your change, and at the same time you might lose someone on the way, and you will, by the way, because not everyone will accept your change and not everyone will believe in your change. But remember, that is your belief of absolute certainty about something which you have to break through. And you're going to be better off on the other side. Yes, you might lose someone on this journey, but yes, you're going to get a lot more out of it yourself. Plus, you get a lot of others whom you didn't have before, who are going to start following you, who are going to start being friends with you, partners with you, just because of that state. So you're still going to balance it out, and you will find that harmony, and you will find those new people who you can make the relationships with if you're afraid to lose them. So don't use this as an excuse. Do not start the journey of changing your identity. This is the most common reason and excuse everyone uses just to make sure that person or we are not changing each other. So don't use this excuse, please. Okay? I hope it was useful. Identity is a huge part of our life, and we have to work on it all the time. Though, our actions are super important as well. And we get into the second part of this step, which is power of actions. And I hope and I know that you already know about it, and you understand how actions are important in our life. But I still want to remind you with a couple of examples. Guys, the knowledge only does not do any good to you. It's basically worthless. It's going to expire worthless if you're just going to keep it in your head. You have to apply that knowledge, and you have to implement it in your life and experiment with it. Only then it gives you value. That's why in the Better Life Academy, we are working on our mission to help others not only learn and become better, but implement those learnings, because only then they can become better. And that's what we're doing right now here in this program. We teach you and help you to implement those things which you learn with us. That's why those practices and those practice exercises are so important. And as I said, it's enough just to do them, not even get to the outcome of that exercise. It's already changing you and rewiring your brain. So you can only fail if you don't do it at all. If you do it at least a little bit, you're already winning. You becoming different. You becoming better. That's why those actions which we need to take is so important. We have also learned from this success cycle. Remember, I have it here. Yeah, I have it here right there. Success cycle, guys, where what our results are depending on. They are depending on our actions. If we're going to take weak actions, what kind of results we're going to get? Weak. If we're going to take massive actions, what kind of results is going to get us? Massive. If we're going to get massive results, what kind of beliefs are we going to reinforce? Our empowering beliefs. And the spiral going to go up. The success cycle going to go up. If we're going to take weak actions, we're going to get weak results. What kind of beliefs we're going to reinforce? These empowering ones. As a result, our success cycle will go down. Remember that. That's how important our actions are. Now, if I ask you, do you take massive actions in your life? And most of us, by the way, and I have experimented with that, and they also had this study about that, most of us will say, yeah, I am taking massive action. Those honest of us will say, well, yeah, I might have taken a little bit more massive actions to get better results. I kind of slacked off a little bit. But most of us will say, no, I was taking super massive actions. So now the question is, why haven't you get those results you wanted? And have you asked that question to yourself? And I bet you didn't. You're just disappointed with the fact that you did not get those results. And you don't understand how come someone else get those results and they, you think, take similar actions. Well, I'm gonna open your eyes today, hopefully. The reason is because what we call massive actions, we just, single out some moments out of our life, some decisions we made in our life, and we think and we define them as massive action. But there are actually so many little and different decisions and actions and activities we perform throughout the life that all of them as a result make that difference. And that's what differentiates you from others. Those are still those actions. But there are different types of actions. And whoever double downs on the right type, wins. And I'm going to introduce you today with those different types of actions. And they're also familiar to you. They are disempowering actions and empowering actions. Yes, you are right. Very similar to the beliefs. Only beliefs are our feelings about the overall world and about our identity, about ourselves. But disempowering actions what we take and empowering actions what we take actually directly impact our results. And where those disempowering and empowering actions come from? And why do I call them disempowering and empowering, the same I call beliefs? Well, if we come from the place of disempowering beliefs, they're gonna make us to perform disempowering actions. And we're gonna reinforce our position and our identity as a result. And we're gonna get those same results out of life. No different. If we come from the place of empowering beliefs, then we're gonna be taking empowering actions as a result. And we'll get very good empowering results. And today, I want to introduce you to the practical method of how to actually figure it out what kind of disempowering actions you are performing and doing at the moment and reinforcing your disempowering beliefs and therefore weakening your position in life. And what kind of empowering actions can you actually replace them with and start doing those actions and improving your life. And that's also going to be an answer for you of how would you come up with an action based on your empowering beliefs which you have created before. And also how would you come up with the action you have to perform or do in case to create that identity you came up with today. Sounds good? Before we get to this practical exercise, I want to say one important thing and kind of guide you through this chain of logic, as I call it. So hear me out. Why do we need to work on the actions? Well, again, coming back to our success cycle, because of our actions, we are getting results. So that's why actions are important, right? They help us to produce the results. Though, where our actions come from? The answer is our decisions. First, we make decision to do something, right? Or decision to not do something. And then the action comes. Or there is no action because we just made a decision. Inaction is also action, by the way. So if we can agree on the fact that our action follow our decisions, that means that we need to make better decisions in order to change ourselves and become someone else. Why? Because those decisions are being shaped by identity, by our identity. Remember, we discovered it today. Our identity shapes our decisions, our choices. And we just discovered that our decisions, as a matter of fact, impact our actions, and our actions impact our results. So we can connect our identity with either actions or results. But in both cases, our actions and our results are coming from who we are, not what can we do, but we can do anything. So we have to create this identity which will help us to do what we can and to become someone who can do just that thing what we want. And for that, we have to act, because only knowledge will not help us out. But a lot of people throughout their life, they have a lot of reasonings, a lot of excuses why wouldn't they achieve something that we want to achieve. After today's step, guys, you are not that people. You know now what identity is. You know now how to define it. You know now how to find it within you. You know now how to refine it within you. And you know now how and what kind of action to take to actually build that identity. And you also know, and you will be knowing after this practical exercise, of how to double down on the empowering actions and replace them for the disempowering ones. As soon as you will learn, and you already know half of it up until this step, you're going to become the learning, the changing, the achieving machine. I promise you. And that's why I'm so excited for every single step we take forward. And this is only the second one. Imagine what's going to happen next, guys. It's only the beginning. The only thing you need to do is to follow what I say, to perform those practical exercises, and go through the process. All right? Okay, let's get to the practical exercise. Let's open another template which I have created for you, and let's figure it out how to figure it out our disempowering actions, put them in place, put them in a list, come up with the empowering actions we should take, and start taking them. And then how to connect it with all our empowering beliefs we have created last time. All right? Again, you will see me on the right upper corner in a little window, and I'm going to guide you through how do we use that template. Let's start. Hey guys, now you see on your screens my template. And you should also see me on the right upper corner in the little window there. I'm still here and I'm going to guide you through this template. Well, actually, I'm going to have two templates sharing with you. One template we're going to be using and working with these empowering actions and empowering actions. As a result, we're going to come up with a lot of those empowering actions we'll be able to take afterwards. At the same time, at the beginning of this step, I promised you, we're also going to touch up on those actions we need to take as a result of us listing those empowering beliefs. We're going to have another template, the second one, where we're going to match those up. And as a result, we're going to come up with final list of actions which will not only reinforce our empowering beliefs, but also will help us to perform and do such empowering actions which will help us to strengthen our identity and change our identity in a way we need to become to achieve those goals and the better life we want to achieve. Sounds good? Okay, let's dive into it. As you see, the structure of this template, of this first template we are looking at right now, is completely the same as was the structure for the beliefs. That's why that's because they correlate with each other. The only difference is we paid attention at the beliefs at the previous template, and I also have this success cycle for you here. But today we're going to be paying attention on the action of this quadrant, because these actions, and depending on those actions, whether they're going to be weak or they're going to be strong, in other words, empowering or disempowering, we're going to get the same result, whether they're going to be strong or weak. And that again, going to impact our beliefs we talked about before. That's why it's so important to understand what kind of disempowering actions we do already today, analyze them, and come up and replace them with the empowering actions to reinforce our empowering beliefs. Make sense? I hope it makes a lot of sense with you to you guys. I'm not going to explain the structure of the file. It's all the same. The simple version consists of four main categories I kind of compartmentalize our life in health, body and mind, wealth, finances, career, education, love, relationships, happiness, and fulfillment. Again, if it kind of gives you complexity and you think it's too difficult, you can just hide, that column and just work on the list of your empowering and disempowering actions which you take and you think you take. Just list them up without those categories. For this video's sake, I will use this column because I like to work within categories. So we have those categories. Now what we need to do, you just need to come up and remember those disempowering actions, what we do right now, which are reinforcing our disempowering beliefs. They don't do any good to us. And I put a couple of examples. For example, I eat when I feel anxious. Is that a empowering actions? Like I eat when I feel anxious. Well, I'm probably going to get overweight every time I'm going to eat when I feel anxious. I think this is, at least for me, that would be disempowering action. What can I come up with to go about that same situation, but using empowering action? Well, you have it here. I must go for a walk or take on any physical activity which will help me to shift my focus. Because anything what I put my focus on, I get. And when I get anxious and stressful, I probably put focus on something which get me this anxiety and this stress. So I will need to shift my focus. Before that, I was shifting my focus with eating more. And that was kind of calming me down and soothing me down and helping me out. But now I want to replace this disempowering action with something which will do with the same effect, but with a different action, which will actually reinforce my empowering beliefs. That's why I put it like that here. Another just a little example. First thing I do when I wake up is checking my phone. Well, for me, it's this empowering actions because as soon as I take the phone, I get caught up with all those things and getting stressed because I see some issues at the businesses I run. I see some alerts from our systems and things like that, and I got just caught up in this routine of thinking and stressing right away as soon as I woke up. It's not going to do any good to me, and my day is not going to be set in a way I want it to go, but my day going to be set in a way it happening in this little thing called the phone, right? So what kind of empowering action I can replace it with? Well, in my case here as an example, first thing I must do when I wake up is to think of moments of my life and people I am grateful for. In other words, I will replace digging deep into that phone with practicing gratefulness, gratitude. And that will change and shift my identity, by the way. So there is like double impact, positive impact, and it's going to reinforce my actions, right? My beliefs, the empowering beliefs, and as a result, it's going to bring me better results right there. Let's go over some other examples really quick. If I have money left after all spendings, I save. That might be this empowering belief. It's still a good thing what I do. I save, but I only save if I have money left after all the spendings. Another empowering belief, I mean, not belief, but the action would be I must save first and then spend what is left after savings. That's a lot more powerful. It will bring me more result that way. Will it? I will save more. Will it bring more result then? Obviously. And by the way, I put everywhere, almost everywhere, I must. We used to say to each other or to ourselves, I have. But the one thing I learned from my mentors is you have to replace your I have with I must. Because I have give you the opportunity for mistake, give you the opportunity for slacking off, give you the opportunity do not do things. That's how I have work within our mind. As soon as I raise it and put it as I must, my mind is paying better attention. And whatever focus goes, energy flows, and my mind will help me out here. All right. That's why specifically I put I must. It's not for the it is for the reason. Another example, I usually give when I receive from my partner. So I kind of wait for my partner to do something nice, and then I'm going to do something nice. Is that empowering or disempowering action? Of course, it is disempowering action. What would be the empowering action? I must start giving despite the fact I'm receiving or not. Give, and then receive. 5-to-1 rule. Give, and then receive. Right? How powerful is that? Trust me, you would start to receive a lot more from your partner. Another, I watch drama and thriller type of movies mostly. Well, it's going to affect within happiness, right, and fulfillment. It's going to affect how I feel. It's going to affect my perception. It's going to affect my emotions, and my emotions, which is energy and emotion, will impact how do I feel, how do I experience my happy time, and how do I experience my fulfilled time. Instead, what would be the empowering action? And I would still have fun watching those same movies. Well, I must start watching comedies and go to the comedy clubs. I add even more to get pumped with positive emotions and still be in that entertainment type of mind, which I enjoy. Right? Again, double down, replacing disempowering actions with empowering actions. And as a result, you have here all empowering actions, which most of them start with I must. So it's basically ready to go action item for you. You already know what should you do. You just need to start doing it, start practicing it, and implement in your life. As easy as that, guys. That's not going to be that long, I promise. Advanced version of the file, same thing, but with a bigger detailization. Remember, we have here under health, physical health, emotional, spiritual, mental, sleep, diet, and so on. In finance, we have savings, and we have learning, and we have living locations. In love, we have family, friends, romance. Happiness, fulfillment, we have my mission, my career, my legacy, right? So now I just have this opportunity to think of my disempowering actions and empowering actions within this one small category. For example, let's take sleep. Let's say I forgot about the sleep that I was thinking overall about my life within these big bulky categories, right? Then here, this file might help me to actually dig deeper and put a little more focus on those actions, what I do, because a lot of those actions and majority of actions actually become what change us, what help us to change and create our new identity. So if I take a look at the sleep, I might come up with the disempowering actions, what I do right now. For example, well, every other day I go to sleep after midnight. Another one, well, every other day I sleep only like 4 hours and feel exhausted in the morning. How can I replace them with the empowering action? Well, I should set up the time, which is like a law to me. The rule, I go to sleep by 10 and I have to start doing it. Whatever, I put alarm for that 10 p.m. or maybe some reminder of mine, or I agree with my partner to actually go together because we depend on each other kind of thing. And as a collectiveness kind of action, it's going to help us out to perform it. And then I put it here, and then I know now I have to start practicing it. This is empowering action. I'm going to start going to sleep earlier. As a result, I'm going to be able to wake up earlier to start my day strong, and at the same time to sleep more hours to be energized and use this energy to achieve whatever I want to achieve throughout the day. Sounds good? I hope it does. And then I do the same thing here, and as a result, I come up with all the empowering actions I should take in order to replace those disempowering ones. If you realize, guys, from one point of view, we replacing those actions. From another point of view, we actually replacing and coming up with the better habits. Because most of the time, those actions which you're going to list in this template, in this file, those are the ones which you are doing frequently. That means that became your habit and ritual, like waking up too late in the morning, like going to sleep too late in the evening, like picking up your phone first thing in the morning, like eating when you're anxious. Those are all our habits. We're getting closer to habits, not yet. I'm just mentioning it. We're gonna give them attention in our in our upcoming videos, upcoming steps. But they are very important. Basically, we are already starting to working on them here when we work with our disempowering and empowering actions. As a result of this exercise, guys, whether you use this template, oh, by the way, you can use this advanced template, which is different layout, where I put success cycle for you as well. As a result, in every case, whatever template you use, you're gonna get the very nice list of actionable items which you need starting to do in order to make a change in your life. Sounds good, right? Awesome. Now, one last step. I have another template prepared for you. I'm going to switch it to that template. The template I call matching beliefs with your actions. And here where it comes all together from the previous step and the things you learn from the previous step and the things you're going to learn within this step. Here we meet each other. We meet those steps together. We put them together. How do we do that? Again, as you see, we use the same template, the same structure, only we're now paying attention to both. In the previous step, we paid attention to beliefs and worked on them. During this step, during previous template we used, we worked on actions. Now we match them, we put them all together. What kind of empowering beliefs we came up with, and what kind of actions, empowering actions we came up with in those two separate exercises. Now we just need to match them up and make the list fuller. And I'm gonna demonstrate you how you do that. It's easy. Again, you have those same categories of big ones, or in advanced file, you have those smaller ones, more detailed ones. For this video's sake, we're gonna work with these big categories. What we do is we open up that file, we worked on beliefs, and we copy paste out of that file all our empowering beliefs we came up with. I did it for demonstration of this video here. Empowering belief. And I put all empowering beliefs what I had previously in that file and as an example for you guys. And that's what I do in this left column. On the right column, which I call empowering action, because we compare and we match beliefs and actions here, guys, we copy paste all the empowering actions we came up with when we were working on our empowering action template. Right here. Just copy paste them into that new file. As a result, on the left-hand inside, you're going to have the result of your work and exercise, which you worked on beliefs. And on the right column, you're going to have the result of you working on your actions. Sounds good? Now, what you do is you match them up. You already know what you're going to take these actions. That's already given. We don't do anything with that. We just have them already. Now we need to kind of troubleshoot our empowering beliefs and see whether we're missing something out of the action list, which we need to do and act up on in order to reinforce our empowering beliefs. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So let's read my empowering beliefs within this health and body mind category, which I had previously came up with for my disempowering belief, but I don't see disempowering belief here. I don't want to put my focus on disempowering belief anymore. I forgot it about already. I am working only on empowering beliefs, guys, and I'm building my life around them now. That's why they're not here. Even if you have this curiosity to see what they were, okay, take a look at them, open up the file, but it's not me. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to waste my time on them because they all hold me back. I'm kind of mad at them. To be mad is not a good thing overall, but just for the humor's sake, guys. All right, empowering belief. What I had is I can be as fit as I want to be if I discipline myself. If I exercise more, eat less, and eat healthier. That's kind of belief I came up with and I want to have. Let's see and match it with empowering actions. So I have empowering actions, which I say, well, I must go for a walk and physical activities to shift my focus when I am stressed or anxious. All right, it's already includes some physical activity here. Very good. The next action is first thing I do in the morning, I practice gratitude. All right, very good. Let's see what do we miss out of in the list of this action to fulfill and reinforce that belief. Well, for one, I have to exercise more. I don't think to exercise only when I feel anxious will fulfill on that belief. So what I probably need to do is, for example, I must start running 3 times a week. And that's how I will reinforce my new belief, which I have to exercise more. Eat less. Well, I must create my new diet. Let's put it that way, right? And be as specific as you can about it, because you have to put it into the detail, right? You can think about the details later on. We're going to also have a lot of information providing to you throughout next videos of how to actually put the actionable items into the actionable list, into your daily routine and weekly routine and yearly routine and things like that, right? But for now, just try to be as specific as you can, because when you work on it, you're already warmed up. So use this energy to get the most efficiency out of it. And then eat healthier. So I kind of covered eat less, eat healthier, and exercise. So now I have it. So you see now my list of empowering beliefs, which I have made before, help me to add up on this list of those empowering actions I should start taking in my life in order to change it and change my identity. Make sense? All right. Next one, just an example again. I have realized that I have to have this belief, and I want to have this belief that we live in the world of plenty, not in the world not enough. And this is enough money, enough of abundance, enough of everything for anyone in the life. We only have to reach and grab it, through our doings, like opening up the businesses, educating ourselves, and things like that. All right, let's see what I have in my action plan, action list. Well, I must first save, and I invest and then pay taxes. Very good. Look at that. I might save first and then spend what left in savings. So I'm already putting myself in a position to save money. And this is we live in the world of money, of plenty of money. So I'm already acting on that. I believe in it, and that's why I'm going to do that. I must invest first and then pay taxes on what is left. Very good thing to do. That's how I can invest more, and that's how I can multiply my money, right? I must invest as much money as I can into myself, and I will buy an online course next time I have extra money. There was some empowering actions against my disempowering action, which I did not maybe mention before, but you can find it in my file, which I provided to you in that template we worked on previously, right? Right there. It was right there. Yeah. If I have extra money, I buy material things, but I want to start actually investing in myself. That's why I have it here. And it goes very well with this belief, because now I believe the money is not an issue. The issue is what I do with it, whether I reach and grab, and what vehicles I use to get this money. Make sense? I hope it makes a lot of sense, guys. Okay, another one. What I came up with is the empowering belief is that perfect does not exist, and I'm being loved for who I am, not how I do things. All right, what kind of actions do I have? Well, I must start giving despite the fact I'm receiving or not. Very good one. Imagine this empowering belief. I must call my friends occasionally to support our friendship. Well, I want to take care of my friends, right? I want to take care of my relationships. It's also kind of matches. What else can I come up with out of this? Well, maybe nothing. If nothing, okay, those are the actions I need to perform, right? And then you do the same with your happiness, and these are the emotions here. Like, remember, I have this belief as an example that in the previous file, in the previous step that I showed you, that emotions cannot be changed and I have to push them down and things like that. And I came up with the empowering belief which says emotions are feelings which can be learned, understood, and changed. What kind of empowering actions do I put for myself already? Well, I must start watching comedies and go to the comedy clubs to get pumped with positive emotions. So I found the way how to change my emotions, how to control them, how to make them better. Very good match, right? Another one, I must change my job to get back in the flow where time passes quickly, and because I love what I do and I like what I do. Very good. Because if I don't love my job, if I hate my job, I am miserable at my job, and that affects my feelings, my emotions, and those feelings are our beliefs. Remember, we go through the negative emotions, and that forms our beliefs, and that's again that impacts our identity, because identity is a set of beliefs. So the whole chain of those actions actually impacting us. And I came up with the wonderful actions which are already matching. If I wouldn't have that one, I would start thinking hard on this empowering belief and coming up with actions which can reinforce that belief. And as soon as I go over all the beliefs and I make sure I have and matched each of them with the empowering actions I'm going to take and reinforce them to keep that cycle up. Remember? Actions result beliefs. I reinforce my beliefs with beautiful results. How do I get beautiful results? I take wonderful actions, empowering actions. Empowering actions give me empowering results, and empowering results give me empowering beliefs, and I reinforce them. And they become even better and stronger. And then I tap into my potential, which partially is my identity, those things we learned today, and I'm unleashed, and I use them to get to the other set of activities, which will bring me other set of results. And that's how I grow, and that's how I go forward, and that's how I create my life. I do not manage my circumstances. I create my life. This is huge, and I know I say always that about anything I say, but this is just because I promised you guys to deliver, first of all, and second of all, that is the compilation of ton of years and information and learnings and teachings that I got from my mentors and titans of their industries from all over the world. That's why each of the steps are so important and so influential, if you will. Okay? All right. That's how you match. And by the way, you can use the advanced version as well. You can easily put those beliefs, if you use the advanced versions before in those templates which we used with you just use that your advanced template, and you come up with empowering, you copy paste empowering beliefs here within each of the category, and then you copy empowering actions and you match them in the same way we just did with you in this file here. Okay? All right. I hope it was not too long. I just wanted to give you all out, just to give you all this energy and this knowledge for you to succeed. As a result, guys, what happened here? We actually utilized that file, that knowledge which we created for ourselves when we were working on the beliefs. We utilized those beliefs, we took them, those empowering beliefs, and we matched them with those actions which we also came up with today. And we combine them and we create even stronger list of actions we need to start taking up on in order for us to start a change. I hope it was useful, and get back to the big screen. And we are back. Hey guys, how was it? I hope you liked it. And by the way, if you didn't have enough time to fill those templates out as we go, it's not a problem. Just click on the pause and work on your file. You're not going to miss out on anything, because this is a recording and you have it for lifetime. So take time. Work on your spreadsheet, because as I said, you cannot fail if you're going to at least do something about it. You will, though, if you're going to ignore it. So that is the important point. So let's recap what we have learned today and how it's going to help us in the future. Well, first of all, we learned that we have some kind of identity. We have defined it, which is our identity is a set of the beliefs we have about ourselves, the things we do, with things we don't, with things we will do, with things we will never do. We also learned that a big part of that identity have been formed without our control in our childhood and through different environments and experiences and people we met with. We also have learned the practical method of how to define that part, how to also dig deeper and define another part which is within us, how to get it out there, figure out what else is missing, put it all together and create the beautiful and wonderful and clean identity for ourselves the way we want it to be, because we need it to actually achieve the goals and the results we want to achieve, which would lead us to the better life. How great is that? We have also learned that identity shapes our decisions, which will then shape our actions and our results. We have also learned different methods of how to define our personality. I'm going to share those links of personality tests with you. In your membership area, you're going to be able to find them together with this video. We have also learned that in order to succeed, you have to take massive actions, that knowledge without action is nothing. Only action and taking that action and implementing this knowledge means something. We learn that there are different types of those actions we can take. The ones we can help us to take that success cycle up. And those are the empowering actions. And the ones which can actually spiral down our success cycle, which are these empowering actions. We have learned what kind of these empowering actions we are already performing and doing. And we have already came up with the empowering actions we need to start doing in order to replace those old ones and reinforce our empowering beliefs. We have compared the actions we came up with from listing our empowering beliefs with the actions we came up with from changing our identity and creating our new identity and just listing those empowering actions we want to take. We match them all up and now we have the final list of all the things which we want to do and start doing and act on them in order to start shaping up our better selves. Because only by changing ourselves, we're going to change the world around us. If we want to change the world, we're going to change ourselves. And the world actually going to stay the same, but we're going to change and we're going to see it from different angle, from different perspective, with different opportunities, with different results. And that is what we want. Because in order to achieve different results, you gotta start doing something different. If you're gonna do the same things all over again, you're gonna get the same results all over again. This is the definition of insanity. Right? So let's stay sane. Let's take care of our identity. Let's build it and create it and design it in the way we want it, not in the way it was built before. Let's take all those good parts which were there. Let's leave aside those bad ones, the ones we don't want to continue to use, and then just unleash the ones we have already within us and start using them more often by acting and creating habits which will reinforce those results of using those qualities. Guys, I hope it was useful and I hope you're gonna go through those practical exercises, because the process itself will rewire your mind already and your mind will start thinking of actually different actions, of taking different actions, and will be your help on the way of taking those very right and good steps for you to achieve the better life in any area of your life. All right? All right, I think it was fun. Hopefully it was very useful to you. That's all for today. And let's meet you at the step number 3.